All right, for this project, as you can see, we're making another 2x, well, actually not 2x4, we're doing 2x6 pumpkins today. So this is going to be a little bit larger than the 2x4 pumpkins that you may have already seen. So first step here is we need to make some cuts. We need one 3-inch, two 6-inch, and two 8-inch. Right, so that's about what, 31 inches? This board just happens to be 32.5. So we're lucking out again. In one of my other videos, I had just enough. I had, actually had just like an inch short than what I needed. So anyway, we can accommodate. So let me mark out and get this stuff cut. I'm going to start with the 3-inch. And then we'll do a couple of 6-inch and a couple of 8-inch. And then we shouldn't have much board left after that. Now again, these are going to be rustic pumpkins, right? So if you're like an 1/8 of an inch or, off on your cuts, whatever, right? Just work with what you got. So I like to put a round over on them. And we are just using like the 3/16 round over bit. Might not have, almost didn't get to use any of it. So I am going to sand these. I'm going to use the round over to just soften them up on the cut edges and the straight edges. I'm going to go ahead and router all the corners and all the edges. And then we'll sand it. Just going to use a 120 grit. You can use whatever grit you want. The 120, just hit it all real quick just to get these little frays and everything else. And I am going to hit these with the 120 grit, like I said. So this 2x6 was a little crazy from the store. So it's got some knots and some rough edges. But that only adds to like the rustic feel, I guess. So I'm just going to give them a quick sanding. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Just kind of smooth over most of it. But not, super smooth. But again, you can use whatever grit you want. Or do it however you want. Ta-da! Now that we have these pieces sanded, again, we didn't go super smooth. We're not making furniture here. We have a 3-inch, 2 6, and 2 8s. Okay, so this is it's like a chunkier version of a different pumpkin I made, and I'll put that video up in the corner somewhere. So for all these pumpkins and my fall decor so far, I've just been using liquid nails because sometimes it's fully painted when I put it together. Other times like this, I'm not going to paint this one until it's actually assembled. So I guess I could use the wood glue on this. Maybe I'll use the wood glue. But normally I've been using liquid nails. But let's use some wood glue because I have more wood glue than I have liquid nails. So for the assembly on this, we're going to do a 6-inch, the 2 8-inches, the other 6-inch, and the 3-inch on top of that. And then we're going to put a stem on it. I have a bag of stems here. So I went out into the woods, and maybe I'll put a little clip of that somewhere. And I found a tree branch that came down. So it's still a little fresh, but I didn't cut it fresh. So then we'll probably liquid nail the stem on the top. I'm going to go a little bit of a stubby one, I think. Like I said, we're going to start on the bottom, and I'm going to use the wood glue this time. Try not to go too far to the edge, right? Because you don't want to put it on and get the squeeze out, and then you have to clean all that up. If you stay kind of in the general area, right? And don't worry about being precise or exact. Just eyeball it. That looks like it might be, you know, a good spot. And don't put it on here because you're going onto a 6-inch piece. And dust everywhere. So put it in the middle of your 6-inch. And then just kind of eyeball. You know, I'm doing like a half a finger on either side. So it looks good. And I like to use one of the other pieces to flush it up. So it's not hanging over front to back one way or the other anymore. Yeah. And then you can let that sit. You can throw some clamps on it. You can put something heavy on top of it. I think I'm going to put something on top of it, but I'm going to move it. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it over here. No, not really. That's not level. You got to keep it level for the first, you know, half an hour or so, or that glue may slide. Nothing's really level in this shop. We're gonna let that sit, and what we'll do once it's dry enough, we'll take it to the fancy paint station outside and put some paint on it. Well, there you go, right? Through the magic of television, we're done. No, that's the one from the opening. That's the one I already made. All right, here's the one that needs paint. So this one that we saw earlier in the video, in the beginning of the video, that one is the it's just a gloss orange, okay, from the big blue box store. And this one we're going to do in a rustic orange. Okay, I got this from the big orange box store. Yeah, so we'll just let that sit. I don't know how long it takes to dry. Half an hour maybe before you can touch it and maybe flip it over and do some more. So I'm just going to let that sit, and then we'll see what happens. All right, this project is done. So with this one, I use the bright glossy orange. This one I use the indoor-outdoor, they call it Rustic orange. It's a Rust-Oleum brand. You don't have to get this one, or you don't have to get this one. You can get whatever color you want. Pumpkins come in different colors, right? I've seen white, you know, yellowish, brown, and all that stuff. Brown's probably usually rotting pumpkins, but anyway, this is the Rustic orange. It's all painted, all dried. Use the wood glue. I'm not going to paint the bottom. It's not going to go outside. If it is going to go outside, I suggest using the paint for the bottom. This is indoor-outdoor paint. That way, if water seeps underneath, it should be fine. So last up here is to put the stem on. These are liquid nails. Using liquid nails for the stem as well. So once you put the stem on, just kind of give it a little bit of pressure. And just let it sit. Don't touch it for at least 2 or 3 hours. And it fully cures. You know, I'd give it at least 24 hours before you try to pick it up by the stem. That's it. That's the end of this project. This is the Rustic orange. This is the high gloss orange. And again, you can make it whatever color you want. I am going to put a little bit of twine, maybe some, you know, decoration on them or whatever. And maybe I'll stick some pictures up so you can see it. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share my content. I really appreciate it. And I guess we'll catch you on the next one, huh? Thanks.